So do I honestly think that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is in a healthy spot right now? Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more Oz content. It's going to be really no fun animations over here. Just going to be talking about my thoughts on the current meta. So, of course, we got to start with Kashtira, the big mean deck in the room that just honestly is really boring to play against. It's a Rise Heart pass, and so many people are fatigued out by this deck that it has grinded out the meta so much that if you're looking at this deck, you're like, it's getting reprinted, in the future. We're probably going to see, some sort of, it's going to stick around. No, you're probably going to see this deck finally get put down. Fenrir and Birth are two of the most annoying cards in modern era Yu-Gi-Oh! To deal with. All right, the fact that all of a sudden your opponent has the Birth and there's the extension. Excellent gameplay. What am I supposed to do about that? And that's like the unhealthiest part of the game has been that. Obviously, Book of Eclipse, Book of Moon have entered into the meta here to, turn down the Arise Heart, to take down, your opponent to summon their starter, go ahead and set it face down. Now I can continue the tempo on the next turn. You have these cards that are starting to show up as these interruption points to obviously do what your deck wants to do, which is continue to play the game. You want to be able to capitalize and control the game. All right. And I mean, to be fair, looking at the meta and I'm seeing Book of, whatever back in the meta, I think that makes things healthier. The fact that we have a honest to goodness 1-for-1 back in the format is incredibly good. All right. That's healthy. On the top end of things, Kashtira is just so fatiguingly annoying. It's crazy. And the other thing is, a lot of people attribute this format to being very stale. And I don't blame them. The one thing that people like about Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the change in the meta. The things that can get the old noggin going. And when things have been figured out, that's where the fatigue kind of comes in. If you've had Kashtira playing around for the last 8 months, or whatever its time in the meta has been, I understand why people are like, hey, we want something new. Now, we have had something new. I mean, we've had the Illusion archetype sitting here. It's been spicing things up. The OCG never got to experience our version of this deck because they have Brain Diffusion at 1. Meanwhile, the TCG is like, yeah, let's go ahead and dump as much Fallen of Albaz, good stuff as we can into this bad boy. And congratulations, it's working out. It's an entirely, I would say, on that scope of things, that is, I think, the sauciest thing that we have besides Unchained at this point in time, that is making that shift on the top end of things. Now, having the Illusion deck be a viable deck, I mean, the hand rip is the thing that does tend to make this deck a little bit better. I can't change that or tell you otherwise. Like, cards that rip from the hand are always going to be deemed unfair. I mean, Spiritual Water Art Aoi, a pointer of the Red Lotus, Eradicator, Epidemic Virus, some of these key cards. I mean, Eradicator still exists in the format. By the way, Eradicator's been seeing less play, right? Does that mean the format is healing? A little bit. I mean, when you're having less of these troublesome meta cards sticking around, yeah, I will say that they are seeing a little bit less play. I think that's actually kind of a good thing at the end of the day, but let's call it what it is at this point in time. Yeah, I can understand some of the frustration and things, at least in regards of the same, it's the same stuff, a different day. Fallen of Albaz still seeing play, but this time we got the fancy new finish that can rip a card from your hand and, end on some new fusion monsters that normally didn't see play beforehand. I think that's kind of cute, at least a little bit there. And then, I mean, what else you got going on here? You've got Unchained. Unchained, I'm not surprised that it is doing as well as it is. The deck kind of plays through, Shifter. Shifter's been an annoying card this morning. How many people are upset that Shifter is running around? I get it. I get that Shifter is an annoying card. All right. And I know that people want Shifter gone, but it's the same thing with Droll and Lockbird at this point in time. It's one more obstacle in the game. It's one more, floodgate aspect to kind of take care of. And I don't want to see these things banned. I actually think that Droll and Lockbird, and I've said this multiple times on record here since we're talking about, is the game healthy? I think Droll makes the game healthy. Boo, Robbie, you don't know what you're talking about. You're bad at the game. That's what half the comment section says, but I don't really care at this point in time. I'm here to have an opinion and, view the game in my own eyes and how I view things. I think Droll's perfectly fine. I want to sit here and deal with, my Dark World player at locals taking a 15-minute turn as they're like, oh boy, Robbie, look, we're going to continue to slowly hand loop your hand away from you. Man, I wish you had Drone Lockbird. All these cards I've been drawing, this is fantastic, man. Like, oh, this is great. Oh, look at that. Oh, what are you going to... Oh, you should have drolled me, loser. Droll's banned in the hypothetical world. Oh, well, cool. Dark World effect, they shuffle up their entire hand. They're like, can you roll the dice? Cards in hand 30? Oh, okay, yeah. And people think that that's fair at the end of the day. Yeah, I think the current hand trap placement in the game is a little bit more acceptable. It's just the stale factor is still looming there. I mean, once again, you can only refurbish a car so much until you're like, oh, you want the next set, or you want something. We're just kind of at the point right now that, everything's kind of not fresh. I mean, Age of Overlord I'm excited about because I can play Horus and I can play, Doomsday Star. The Diabell Star stuff is exciting. The IP interaction with the SP Little Knight is amazing. I'm excited about that. Those are the things I'm looking forward to. But where we're sitting right now in the meta, everybody wants a ban list. Everybody wants the chance to kind of change things up. I mean, we have Flaunder looking like an appetizing deck at the moment. When you have Flaunder sitting at the table right now, messing up the meta because N-Pen is a good card, you really need to look at the meta and go, wow, is that diverse? I don't know. Looking at things 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. You've got 18 viable decks that have topped on the regional level. As of filming this, we just did the breakdown video the other day for, week 1 of the format. And let's be honest at this point in time, 18 viable decks is good. That's actually amazing at this point in time. I'll clap for it. That's some of the most diverse Yu-Gi-Oh! That you can have out here. But people do want change. People do want to see things, get hit. People want Pot of Prosperity hit for the consistency change. They want Kashtira out of the meta. They don't want to deal with the same snowballing stuff that we've had. And obviously, the one way to, maybe not print the next level power creep immediately, but the fact that you can take a step back here and go, hey, maybe the ban list is a way to soften or change things up. Now, obviously, there's only so much you can do on a ban list by, power creeping certain things out of the meta. But if you do remove Kashtira from the equation, you do take away the Macrocosmo deck. You immediately put potentially more decks on the table. Speaking of problems in the game, King Calamity is a walking, talking, this card should have been taken out back and removed from the game ages ago. And the more that we continue to advance in the development of the game, the more that we look at King Calamity and go, yeah, that card's a walking, talking time bomb. And the fact we've already got Mana Diem out here that is producing this card, is going through the crazy interactions with this, it is a matter of time. That card alone makes this game unplayable. I would rather deal with infinite Kashtira than deal with infinite, oops, oh, you just got Calamity locked. And I think a majority of players would agree with me on that. At least I can play through I can at least attempt to, play through that field. I mean, I can only draw Sphere Mode so many times against a full Calamity field. Yes, you can still summon the Sphere Mode. I still can't believe 6 people commented on my video going, well, you can't actually summon the Sphere Mode underneath the Calamities. It's a summoning condition, I don't know why people seem to not think that, but okay. The more that you know at the end of the day. So, the game is in an interesting spot. I know that doesn't really answer the question, but you've got the good with the bad. I've definitely seen worse in the game, but as of right now, there's not a lot to look forward to. There hasn't been, the next saucy thing. Age of Overlord, I think, makes the game exciting again in certain aspects, and I'm definitely looking forward to Indy, at least for the YCS coming up here. But from where I'm sitting right now, we need a good ban list, and we need a good set to change things. And I don't know if we're going to get either of those. Well, age does do things. So leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace. Patrons, thank you. Whoa!
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.